one of my favorite parts of the show.
Ooh, LSTT relationship letter.
Yeah.
Dear LSTT, I never really knew my father, and I hate to say it, when he decided to come back into my life, I didn't want him there. When my father divorced my mother, he divorced his first set of children too. He left my mother when I was 4 years old, and my twin sisters were 2 years old. It has been well over 30 years, and he has made quite a life for himself. He remarried and had 3 other children. He takes care of them very well, and yes, I am harboring bitterness towards him. He never came to visit, and he never paid child support. I was a fatherless child. I listened to your show last week, and someone wrote in about forgiveness. It's hard for me to forgive this man who didn't give up, she said the word, about us, how we would eat or anything, and now he want to come back into our lives. We're grown now, and my mother is dead. My friends and family members tell me to try to form a relationship with him. He's a very affluent man, but that doesn't matter to me. When we needed money from him, he was nowhere to be found. Plus, I don't want his money. I don't want to meet my other siblings, and I don't want them in my life. I guess my question for you is, should I pass on my feelings to my twin sisters? Sincerely, Miss Bitterness.
Oh, wow. That is an amazing letter. We thank you very much for providing that. Tracy, I see you kind of somber over there.
Because it's so many people's stories.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many, with so many divorces, there are so many broken families, and unfortunately both men and women who walk away and miss out on those opportunities of their first families, as we may call them, and have the opportunity to later come back into their lives. So I say to you, and I'm sorry, that was a young lady, right? I say to you, young lady, to take a lesson from the show last week and use your forgiveness skills to forgive your father and try to restore a relationship with him. I say that, talk to your sisters or whatever, they were twin sisters, talk to your sisters before you talk to your father, because you're not sure what kind of feelings that they have, but allow them to have their own feelings, and then the 3 of you come together and express to your father how you felt. Give him the opportunity to tell his side of the story and find out, what really happened. And it's never too late to restore relationships. So don't hold on to that bitterness and anger, and because all it's going to do is bring you down. And don't miss out on your other siblings because they had nothing to do with the situation. What happened was between your father and your mother, or your father, but it has nothing to do with your brothers and sisters. You never know who may be a blessing in your life.
Man, Tracy, that almost summed it up right there. We almost don't have nothing to say.
Oh, she summed it up.
That was very good, Tracy. I agree and concur with that. You definitely, I think one of the things she was talking about, should she pass her bitterness on to them? And the answer is definitely no. You don't want to ignite a fire sort of bitterness among everyone else. In a situation where one person is feeling bitter, you don't want to, transcend that to someone else so they can start feeling that bitterness too. So I would say definitely don't do that. But I did like when Tracy says, talk about it with them. Maybe find out how they feel about it, and don't try to bring them to your side, but maybe listen so you all can let out your frustration. And I think it would be, great to meet with him and talk to him about him and let him know your frustration. Let him feel your anger. Let him feel how, you felt being left and not being there. And now all of a sudden, now this person wants to come back into your life. He needs to know that, how you feel. So as Tracy said, from listening to last week's letter, you can allow that healing to begin, because you need to heal from the bitterness that you have, because it's going to hurt you more in the long run than anyone. So take the time to, I say definitely pray, go to the Lord in prayer to find a way, a solution to make this easier for you in the process, and also for your father so he could have that opportunity. Yeah, he was wrong for not being there, but don't punish him for the rest of his life.
I agree with both Tracy and Rick, Miss Bitterness, and I hope the advice that they share tonight that you would take heed to it. But I'm getting a sense that more so that you're feeling more hurt the way he did your mother and probably her struggle, and she's passed on. And, you know, you might feel guilty if you accept the fact that he's back in your life, but pray on it. And your twin sisters are just a couple of years younger than you, and they probably look up to you. So whatever you're feeling, if it's negative, don't spread that to them. You know, discuss it with them. Let that be their decision. But overall, I hope the advice that we're giving to you tonight, actually, you would take it and just consider it, because forgiveness is for you. It's not for him. You don't even have to see him after that. Just forgive him. But to have that one chance to talk to him and hear him out and know what went on over the course of those 20-plus years.
Yeah, that is so true, because you definitely want to be able to try to get some kind of a relationship. It may not, it's going to take some time. I know we're not expecting you to change overnight, because that bitterness has been there for a long time. And what I will add before we go into our last, subject is seek some counseling for that. Find a counselor. Of course, I would recommend a Christian counselor. There are some, good counselors out there that are not Christian, but you can get a Christian counselor or someone to counsel to help you through the process that you're going through, so they can make it easier transition of talking to you and your father. Yeah. And so we're going to go into our last subject today, which is great. What should Christians do? Christians would allow themselves to speak to their